If I can have your attention here in the Media Center, we'll continue on with our post-race media availability for tonight's Go Bowling 400 in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. And we're joined by the race-winning owner, Barney Visser, of the number 78 Auto Owners Insurance Toyota for Furniture Row Racing, and Joe Garone, also with Furniture Row Racing. Barney, let's start with you. You were so close to winning this race last year. How does it feel to finally get over the hump and bring it into victory lane here in Kansas City?
It feels great. We have been so close here so many times. We have been fast. I think every time we brought Martin here, and this is a track that he just excels at. And we expected to do really well here, and he did.
Joe, the Furniture Row Racing and the Toyota Camry this year has shown strength on multiple occasions. Could you please walk us through the success that you've had there with the new Toyota Camry here in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series?
Well, it's just been, you know, anytime you start with a new model car, all the development that goes into it, I just really got to commend our guys at the shop and all the work that goes on behind the scenes to get the speed out of the cars. You know, early on, I think in the very beginning of the year, we had some success, and it's just been progressively getting better. But I can tell you, it's just on the back of a lot of the guys at Furniture Row Racing and Joe Gibbs Racing, working really hard with TRD to get these cars advanced. I think they're going to be pretty special. They're just getting better and better.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open the floor for questions. We'll start with Todd.
Hey, Todd Palmer, Kansas City Star. First of all, Barney, Martin said several times that like the team, the crew considers this their home track. So does that make it any more special? And you know, for you guys to finally get that win here?
We consider anything west of the Mississippi a home track for us because it's an easier trip for us, and we like the western swing for sure. Anything out west is we consider our home tracks, and so yeah.
We'll go next to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires.net and PRN. Cole, before the race, you told me the car was good. I guess you were right. Talk to us about the car, what you saw out there from for your vantage point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all weekend we had pretty good speed in the car. It was just a matter of kind of hitting it all right, and yeah, I felt like all night it was pretty good. Really, it's just a kind of track position gain. There's a lot of good cars. I mean, 21, 4, 18. All those guys were really quick. So it was I think run to run, depending on who was where and stuff like that. There was definitely some stiff competition. So I mean, really it just came down to those restarts at the end. I mean, we really weren't in the best position at times. And Martin, I think we restarted 9th one time, and we were 4th by the first turn, which was huge to get back into it after we had Lugnut fall off on the pit stop. So I don't know, it felt like one of those nights where it was just we were doomed to give it away at some point, and it didn't happen. So 15 cautions here is just crazy. It was a wild night out there, but I think it's just product of the racetrack coming of age, and you got multiple grooves out there, and guys really pushed the limit. It made for great racing.
Make it hard for you to make the calls from the box.
Yeah, I think the tough thing tonight was just we only had laying 8 sets of tires, and then just picking when you wanted to put them on was probably the trickiest thing as far as strategy wise goes, because you didn't want to. Yeah, you could make a small gain earlier by maybe coming in pitting or staying out, and you just had to make sure, and we ended up using every one of them. So it was, I think that was definitely a tricky element with all those cautions.
Okay, we're going to go upstairs next to the press box.
Lee Spencer, motorsport.com. Barney, are you going to get an upgrade on those chairs? You don't look too comfortable there. I think you're the right guy to be able to pull that off. Anyway,
An upgrade, yeah.
Can you talk about the evolution of Furniture Row over the last 4 years, particularly since Martin's come on board?
I didn't quite catch that.
Could you talk about the transition or the evolution of Furniture Row Racing since Martin's come on board?
Yeah, the first year with Martin, as you know, was pretty tough. We didn't know exactly what we had, and he didn't know exactly what he had, and it's just been golden ever since. As you know, he was a champion in the other series, in the Xfinity Series twice, and he can certainly get up on the wheel. And he is definitely the pick when we lost Kurt that Cole and Joe and all the guys wanted, and we were able to land him, and he's just been outstanding. You saw it tonight on those restarts. He drove like a champion, and that's where we think we're headed. That's the goal, and we got a driver that can do it, I think.
Okay, we're going to come back down here to Randy, then to Todd.
Yeah, Barney, Randy Kovitz, this is for USA Today. You talked about how well you've done here, yet you were worried about it getting away because of the history, I guess, you've had here. You've done well, but not win. Just how did all those dynamics play tonight that you finally were good and didn't give it away?
Well, that's the nature of racing, isn't it? I mean, it just happens that way. Something happens to somebody that's fast every time you go out there, and we've certainly had our share of mishaps, just a lot of just crazy ones last year, and hopefully that's behind us.
Yeah, I mean, this is.
Why do you think you might further it away?
I don't know. It's just one of those places. I mean, it's like I think with all the cautions, you know, there's opportunities for random strategies where those guys came in topped off, and it's like, oh man, long run, here we go. Somebody will snooker us out of it or something like that. But it, you know, it just guys stand out. You know, messes. You know, you get back in the pack. As wild as it was tonight, you easily could get crashed. I think we had a couple close calls through the night. I think one point we were going 4 wide into 3, and I was pretty clenched up tight, holding my breath that we were going to make it through, and we did. So it was, you know, there's just so many moments. It's just everybody's on edge out there, and there's a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong.
Go next to Todd.
Barney, I mean, obviously Eric had a couple spins where I don't think there was any contact. I mean, were you thinking, I mean, because it looked like Martin had checked out there with 19 laps to go, and then it's your driver who brings out the caution that almost, you know, like takes it all away. So.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times, I think, tonight. And it was, yeah, I had some moments there. Yeah.
I was like, here's a new way to lose it. 77's going to do it for us.
That was. Ugh.
Any additional questions here in the press room? Well, gentlemen, congratulations on the victory, and good luck next week at Charlotte, where I hear you guys are pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I don't know.
Can we follow that? Just talk about.
I think we can hear you.
Yeah. The domination of last year's race. I mean, just you guys really. How good do you feel now, parlaying tonight into where you dominated last year?
I feel like this is like a, you know, just a strong part of the schedule for us. You know, I look back the last 2 years, and I think from the Kansas, you know, Charlotte, Dover, Pocono, Michigan are all really strong tracks for us. And you know, we always we circle that time frame to know that's our shot to capitalize, just because that's, you know, typically where we've run strong. So I don't know, you got to continue to evolve though. I mean, you know, last year. That was a, you know, unbelievable night and unbelievable accomplishment, but you know, this field's so tough, and you know, you just never know if 2 weeks from now could be you know, totally different pecking order in the competition. So you just got to stay with it, and you know, hopefully we're in a good spot when we get to the 600.
Okay, guys. There you go. You're welcome, Randy. Good luck next week, guys. Take care. If I could have your attention here in the media center, we are now joined by the winner of tonight's Go Bowling 400 here at Kansas Speedway and the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, and that is none other than Martin Truex Jr., driver of the number 78 Auto Owners Insurance Toyota for Furniture Row Racing. Martin, so close last year. You were able to pull through and put it in the victory lane today. How satisfying was that for you, man?
I can't even tell you. It feels amazing to be here. It's been a long time coming to this racetrack for sure. We talked, I guess, on Friday about it. The close calls, the laps led, the heartbreaks that we've been through here. So definitely proud tonight to finally cross that checker flag first and bring it home for the guys.
Okay, we'll open the floor for questions. We'll start with Todd, then go to Jerry.
Does you know, does your past history here? I mean, first of all, I'm sure you're aware of it when you come back. Some of the close calls and stuff like that. Does it make it, I know every race is sweet to win, but does it make this one a little sweeter to finally be sitting here talking about a win after, you know, kind of being robbed a couple times?
It does. I'm not going to lie to you. you know, as a racer, you don't forget. You don't forget those days that that one's got away, or you screwed up and gave one away, or anything like that. You never forget those things. They always stick with you. So definitely, last year was probably the biggest heartbreaker to have the craziest thing happen that you could ever imagine, and you know, 8-second lead just gone, and wherever, I don't even remember where we finished because it was so heartbreaking. So. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely sweet redemption tonight. Definitely feels good to be here, and feel like it's, you know, it's been a long time coming, and we definitely earned it. That's for sure.
We'll go next to Jerry.
What's that? 18th. Thanks for reminding me. It's terrible.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and PRN. Before the race, Cole told me your car was good. He was right. But he also came in here and said that there were about 15 cautions that could have screwed it all up for you. What were you thinking there in the closing laps? And then obviously Eric spinning to bring out one of those cautions.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, Eric. Come on now. Your teammate's leading the race. Don't be causing cautions. I mean, I was gone. Funny story, I actually had that happen to me one other time at MWR when I was running the Napa 56 car. We were at Texas, and it was a handful of laps to go. I mean, we were gone, 6-second lead, something like that. And back in those days, we didn't win a lot. And Mark Martin was my teammate, scraped the wall. There was nothing on the racetrack. The debris, the caution was thrown. Kyle Busch beat me off pit road. I finished second. So I've been in that boat before. Lucky for Eric, I didn't screw up the last couple of restarts.
And this changes everything. We'll go to Nick.
Nick Bromberg, Yahoo Sports. I know you were cursing Eric in the later
No,
laps.
I didn't curse.
Oh.
You should listen to my radio. I said, who spun out? And they said, Eric. And I said, what the hell? And they said, oh, the 13 spun him out. And I never said another word.
Okay, we'll give
So
you
I
a
was
pass.
just checking.
All right, mea culpa. But he was obviously a huge key for you on that third to last restart, the restart before that. Take me through that restart. I mean, was that one of the best restarts you've had in a long time? Because it looked fantastic the way you were able to avoid the block from Blaney and then move around him.
Yeah, Blaney was blocking pretty good, but you know, I just had enough momentum and timed it just right that I could get to his other side when he blocked low. You know, those moments, you know what you need to do, and you try to do the best you can do. You know, 8 out of 10 times it happens the way you hope it will. You know, and you hope that the 2 times that it doesn't go your way, that you're not racing for a win. You know, tonight we did everything right. When the pressure was on, when the money was on the line, we made the right moves, and everything worked out. You know, you could try that move 2 or 3 more times, it might not work. So just the way it worked out tonight, I knew if I didn't come out of those restarts with the lead, I probably wasn't going to win. Our car was really fast, but if we didn't get the lead on the restarts, it probably took us at least 20 laps to get good enough to pass those guys for the lead. The leader had a huge advantage tonight, so to get their lead on those restarts was big, and I knew that was going to be the race, and luckily we were able to make it happen.
Go to Sean, then to Randy.
Sean Roney, Dos Mundos newspaper here in Kansas City. You talked about your reactions when Eric spun out. What's going through your mind, though, when they're shown on television and everything, all the emergency response workers they're in turn to, and they're having to pull him out from the car and put him on a backboard and stabilize him?
Yeah, that's the worst. You'd never want to see it. And you know, Eric's a friend of mine. He's you know, he volunteered to be in our fashion show this week, Catwalk for a Cause, our big foundation fundraiser. Him and his wife, great people, family guy, and just such a nice family and such a nice guy. I was really scared when I seen that and worried for him, obviously. So I hope he's doing good. I hope it was just safety precautions that they had to take care of and get him out of there on a stretcher, but I hope he's doing well. Definitely thinking about him.
Go to Randy, then back to Todd.
And Martin, Randy Kovitz, this is for USA Today. The other thing we talked about, besides the jinx here, was your domination at Charlotte last year. So,
Aren't we going there next?
So what kind of cloud are you floating on right now to, one, going here and knowing you're going back to Charlotte where you had the race of your life?
Man, I'll tell you, the last 2 years have just been, it's just every weekend has had that feeling. You know, I know we've been in position to win a lot of races. We've had, you know, I've had a couple of the greatest years of my career with this team, and I just can't wait to show up at every racetrack. It doesn't matter where it is. You know, Charlotte, to come off of a season like last year that we had at that racetrack, going into the All-Star race is exciting. That's a race that everybody wants to win. It's cool just to be a part of that, but to know you have a shot going in to win that thing is special. So I'm jacked up, man. I'm ready to go. I'm telling you, it's every week though. I mean, you look at, you know, a couple weeks ago we went to Bristol, which has not been one of our best racetracks, and honestly had a shot to win until we sped on pit road there. So this team's so good. It doesn't matter where we go. We can fight for wins. We're going to be right there, and you know, it's time to pounce. It's time to get some big ones, and we've got a few here, and hopefully we'll get some more.
Go up front the time.
Martin, I think there was, from the time of the wreck to the time you got green flag racing again, like a 36-minute delay there. I mean, how do you compartmentalize and block the, you know, any concerns about, you know, your own safety, things like that? I mean, how do you handle that time while you're waiting and probably trying to keep an eye on them cutting him out of the car and all that, and get yourself ready to get back out there knowing, you know, if, you know, but for the grace of God, go you, you know?
Yeah, it depends on the situation, you know. Tonight, I sat there. I tried to watch the big screen as much as I could. Definitely, you know, talked to my crew chief a little bit at first about what happened, what was going on, and, you know, was he out of the car yet and all that stuff, and he kind of kept me up to speed. And then I got to where I could kind of turn my head enough to see the big screen. And when I seen they were getting him out and he was on a stretcher, I just kind of put my head down and closed my eyes and, you know, gave him a few prayers to hope that he was, you know, doing good. And honestly, I was so relaxed and comfortable. I just, my eyes were shut for a few minutes, and I think I almost fell asleep at that point. So being in the car is relaxing. It's a, you know, it's a place where I'm comfortable. Most drivers are the same way, and definitely was thinking about Eric a lot for sure. But once once that yellow comes back out, you got to put your game face on. You got to go back to work, you know, and try to do the best you can. So hope he's doing good. Still thinking about him for sure.
We're going to go to the back left to Scott.
Hey, congratulations, Scott Traylor, Race
Thank
Boys
you.
Broadcasting Network. You know, it seemed like when you guys would have a brand new set on, you could pin it down to the bottom for maybe a couple laps, and then it moved up to the center. It's kind of unique to watch you guys run through the center so long, and then you worked your way up to the top. Talk about how you had to move as those tires wore out, and were you surprised how many? It looked like 75, 80% of the guys were running the top for a really long time.
Yeah, it was interesting tonight just how much the track changed, how much the groove moved. You know, early in the race, the middle was good, but on the long runs you had to run the top, or you were too slow. And then as the race went, as it cooled off, sun, you know, went down, track cooled off, it got to where the middle on the long runs was best. At the end of the race, low middle is where I was running, and nobody could run as fast as we could on the long run. So we didn't change our car a ton tonight. The track didn't change a lot as far as how the car drove or the balance, I didn't think. But the way I drove the car, the lines I ran changed, you know, constantly all night long. So that was fun. It was neat to move around, get to do different things, and hopefully, you know, get on a line quicker than the guys around you and make up some room, make up some spots and some time.
Was it difficult to set them up for a pass?
It was very difficult to pass when the top line was the preferred line. You know, when the sun was still out a bit, 3 and 4 was real hard to see. And anytime that very top line was the fastest place to be, it was impossible to pass the guy in front of you. I mean, you just literally couldn't get close enough to him. You couldn't follow him in a corner. At that point, the top was so much faster than any other groove on the racetrack, there was no way you were going to get by him. So I was glad that it moved back down as it cooled off, so we could make some passes for the lead eventually.
Martin, before you leave, you got to tell me, how pumped are you to go back to Charlotte, where you were so dominant last year? Not only for the Coke 600,
Yeah.
but also for next week's All-Star race.
I mean, we're jacked up. We're ready to go every week, though, like I said a few minutes ago. And, you know, to think that, you know, we're going to be a player in the All-Star race, the All-Star race has never been a place that, Charlotte's never really throughout my career been a place that we were really stellar at. The last couple of years we've really gotten good there. Last year obviously won the 600, but we really struggled in the All-Star race. So I'm definitely excited to get back there, see what we can do, and feel like it'll be the first time I had a real legitimate shot to get that All-Star win. So, I mean, that's a huge feather in the cap. That's something everybody in this series wants to do, and can't wait to try.
Outstanding. Well, Martin, congratulations on the victory and good luck in the next 2 weeks.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.